Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to a very exciting video because today is the very first episode of Marvel's Wolverine 101. Now, funny enough, I am recording this directly after finishing my Marvel Spider-Man 2 101 video, so this is technically considered a part 2 to that video since both of these amazing games are coming directly from Insomniac. So if you want to read the rest of this PlayStation blog article, which Insomniac posted after revealing both of these games, I will leave it as a link in the description below, but disregarding everything that this article brings up relating to Marvel's Spider-Man 2, this video is all about our boy Wolverine. And again, simply saying the words that Insomniac Games is making a complete standalone AAA Wolverine game is something I did not think I would be saying today. But knowing how crazy it is that such a thing actually exists, and seeing how great of a job Insomniac handled both of the previous Spider-Man games with Spider-Man PS4 and Miles Morales, I know for a fact they're going to absolutely knock it out of the park when it comes to Wolverine. And given how incredibly short the Marvel's Wolverine teaser trailer was, and the fact that none of the footage shown was actual gameplay, it does make a lot of fans question as to what exactly we can expect from this game. Well, luckily, Insomniac did go into a bit more detail within the PlayStation blog post, which again was written by Ryan Schneider, who, if you don't know, is in fact the head of franchise strategy and studio relations at Insomniac. And as the article describes, now let's talk about the announcement you probably weren't expecting: Marvel's Wolverine. Back when we were working on Marvel's Spider-Man, there would be times where all of us, Insomniac, Sony Interactive Entertainment, and Marvel, would brainstorm together about the future beyond the web slinger. And even in those early discussions, Wolverine continually came up as the character we'd be really stoked to work on together. Fast forward a couple years and we're suddenly standing in front of Sony Interactive Entertainment and Marvel formally pitching a PlayStation 5 game starring the adamantium clawed mutant. And jokingly, since you just saw the announcement teaser, we can confirm that the pitch seemed to go pretty well. So many of the Insomniac team are such huge fans of the character, and one of the key elements that drew us to him is surprisingly not that different from Spider-Man. Both heroes feel deeply compelled to defend people who are less able to do so. So I find it absolutely crazy that it turns out Insomniac were the ones who actually wanted to go out of their way and make a standalone Wolverine game. And seeing again how great of a job they did with Peter Parker and Miles Morales' characters, I can only imagine what they have up their sleeves when it comes to Logan. And speaking of Miles Morales in particular, we do have official confirmation as to who exactly is planning on leading this project, because if you're someone who actually likes Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales more so than the original Marvel Spider-Man in 2018, I think you're gonna be pretty darn happy, because Marvel's Wolverine is a standalone game being directed by Brian Horton, creative director, and Cameron Christian, game director, who recently led the creative efforts on Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, a game we're extremely proud of at Insomniac. In the vein of our Spider-Man games, our goal here is to not only respect the DNA of what makes the character so popular, but also looks for opportunities to make it feel fresh and truly reflect the Insomniac spirit. And coming from the perspective of Ryan Schneider himself, even though Marvel's Wolverine is very early in development, from what I've seen of its emotional narrative and cutting-edge gameplay, see what I did there? The team is already creating something truly special. And that's about all the official information that we do have right now when it does come to Marvel's Wolverine, which again is in very early stages of development. And just like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Wolverine is again exclusively only on the PlayStation 5. But given that we don't have an official release date for this game yet, I do think it's safe to say it's going to release after Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in 2023. And based on the type of character that Wolverine is in comparison to Spider-Man, I do think that Marvel's Wolverine might be in the more type of linear-based structure for a single-player AAA game instead of the more open-world span of things like what we've seen with the previous Spider-Man games. A game that I personally highly recommend that all of you play before Marvel's Wolverine releases, which I do think you have all the time in the world at this point, is none other than the movie tie-in game of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where even though the movie wasn't all that great, the game itself is actually one of the best Wolverine games and standalone superhero games to ever be created. In short, it's essentially a level-based action-adventure brawler, and I definitely think that I could see Marvel's Wolverine taking in the same type of scope as to what that game did, with obviously huge set pieces tailored to a character like Wolverine, but maybe keeping things a bit more small in scale to really connect directly to the character of Logan himself. Still, this is easily one of the most shocking announcements I think I've ever seen come out of any of these PlayStation showcases, and specifically within the realm of Marvel video games. I really do hope this means that we could get even more standalone superhero games down the line related to other Marvel characters like that of Daredevil, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and just give them their own standalone experiences, just like what we've seen with Spider-Man. Because even though the team-based Marvel games like Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel's Avengers do have their fair share of good aspects about them, I definitely think there is a lot of elements that can be done to further enhance the experience if you are solely focusing on one particular character. But nonetheless, I just can't wait to see more of Marvel's Wolverine in action. Even though it might be a long time until that happens, this is definitely going to get me and a lot of other major Wolverine fans hyped beyond belief once we do see the gameplay of it in action. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video that I do have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What did you think of the Marvel's Wolverine announcement trailer, and did any of this new information provided by Insomniac themselves get you even more excited for what the game has in store? Now, as a bit of a sidebar, even though we didn't hear any particular voice acting within the teaser, I am personally hoping that we will hear Steve Blum reprise his role as Logan within this game, because in my eyes, he is the definitive voice to ever portray that character. But regardless, I'll just make sure to keep my fingers crossed until we see more from this super exciting game. And with all that said, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel's Wolverine and Marvel's Spider-Man 2 videos like this down the line. And without further ado, peace out.